it's about time we start. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ivana Banković from eTwinning National Support Service in Serbia, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this year's Professional Development Workshop for eTwinning Ambassadors and to give you a warm welcome to Serbia. We are very happy that this year's PDW is organized in Serbia, and we have organized it in cooperation with NSS Bosnia and Herzegovina and the CSS, and I would like to use this opportunity to thank them for their support in this process. Yes. As some of you may know, Serbia is a part of eTwinning since 2015. And we are very happy to be a part of this most exciting learning community in Europe. So far, we have more than 2,500 teachers that participate in eTwinning from around 1,000 schools. And this may not seem like a lot compared to the numbers in your countries, but we are very happy that the interest in eTwinning is progressively rising in Serbia. And the teachers recognize it as a tool that can help them improve their daily work and enrich their teaching. We organize a lot of activities, professional development seminars, online trainings, workshops, in order to promote eTwinning and to help teachers use the opportunities it offers in the best possible way. And in this regard, we would like also to thank our Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development, which supports us in these activities. As we all know, it is very important to have their support so that the activities we organize would have a deeper effect. I would also like to thank our eTwinning ambassadors. We have 13 eTwinning ambassadors, and we are very grateful for the work they do and the help they provide to us as a national support service and to the teachers, which is most important, in order to support them to use eTwinning in the best possible way. So we really appreciate the work that you all do, and we find it very, very important. Teachers that participate in eTwinning in Serbia has given us feedback that eTwinning has impacted their work on several levels. Firstly, it has impacted their teaching by providing them opportunities to develop competencies, primarily ICT and language competencies, but also others as well. And it has also enable them to enrich subject content to provide more interesting activities for their classroom. The other level is the level of students' learning. They noted that the students are more interested in the activities which they organize in classroom, that they are actively engaged in their work. But also it helped in peer learning and cooperation with peers in country and abroad. The third level that they mentioned is the school itself, the institutional level. They noted that eTwinning has helped them so that their school can become more international, and this internationalization of school is very important. They establish contacts with other schools in Europe and cooperation with them, which helps them in raising school profile in the local level. So this is one thing that they said is very important, and we totally agree. We are very happy that our schools can cooperate with schools in Europe. I'm also happy to announce that Serbia is finalizing preparatory measures for the full participation in the Erasmus Plus program, and we hope that from the next year we will become a program country. So with this in mind, I'm also very happy that we have this PDW here in Serbia because it can be used as an opportunity for you to network, to establish contacts for future cooperation and projects. And also when you go back home, you can inform your colleagues, schools, that they can cooperate with schools from Serbia as a partner program country from next year. I hope you will have a great 2 days ahead of us and that you will enjoy the conference and Belgrade, Serbia. We will do our best to welcome you here, and if you have any questions, feel free to come talk to us. We will do our best to make your stay as pleasant as possible. Thank you very much. And without further ado, I would like to announce Katarina Aleksić, representative of our ministry, advisor to the Minister for Education, to welcome you and to officially open the conference. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. NCSS team members, eTwinning ambassadors, dear colleagues, dear friends, I'm more than honored and delighted to be here today with you and to greet you in front of the Serbian Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development. For us in the ministry, it is more than clear that eTwinning has the power that is like something very magical. Teachers are putting effort beside everything that they must do on a daily basis, on their free will, getting into new projects, demanding ones, and having great time with all the colleagues from your countries. For us in the ministry, you know the numbers that Ivana just have announced. You know when we in Serbia have nearly 2.7 thousand teachers from 1,000 schools or across the country. And when we have, authors and participants in more than 1.5, I think, in twinning projects, it's more than obvious that we must incorporate eTwinning as a part of teachers in service training in Serbia. In defense of, Ivana just said that the numbers could be bigger, but you know the average age of teacher in Serbia is 48. The language barrier is huge. Teachers do not feel confident. They are afraid of mistakes. They want to be perfect, you know. That is something that teachers deeply believe, that they should be perfect. And we are trying to convince them that only when you are brave enough that you can have then the adventure of your professional lives. Digitalization and digital skills of teachers are equally important as the digital skills and digital literacy of our students. It was never more interesting to be a teacher. I think never in history. I am a teacher, so I am totally aware of that. Because we are all learners in this time of human history. So eTwinning is a really good platform for our teachers in Serbia to practice digital skills with deep meaning and deep, wish to enhance their learning and teaching practice, and really to high the quality bar of their teaching practice. I would like to say that in Ministry of Education, digitalization of education is one of the main goals. It is the main goal of our government as well, and we are very aware of so many dimensions of this process. So we are trying to find what every and each educational system on the planet is trying to find, the quite wise ratio between, investments in ICT, in equipping schools, and to be, sure that that amount of investments will really bring the rising of the quality of education. It is something that is not that ratio is not yet found, but you are, the pioneers in that effort to really put digital technology into work and to embrace everything that technology offers, putting down the walls between countries, mobility of teachers in digital space. So everything that you are doing is truly great. If I can, as a teacher, now not as a member of the ministry, if I can suggest something, it is hugely important when you are giving, the labels of quality to be very strict, because we are really, the pointing direction is really needed. The projects must have really high quality, and they must be applicable in different educational ecosystems. That is my advice, if I can say something like that. The projects should be well related with the curricula of different subjects in different countries, so you have a lot of work ahead of you. I wish you to make some space in your heart for Belgrade, because you are, the weather is beautiful, everything is shining and bright, so enjoy these 20 plus hours of your professional development, but do not forget to see Belgrade just a little bit. I must say, these are my last words, I promise. When I was reading your agenda for this meeting, I must admit that each and every topic is more than relevant for everything that I saw and heard in the last 2 years all across the planet. So be brave. You are carrying the great responsibility to show how digital technology can be wise and fruitful for the educational systems. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank Ms. Katarina Aleksić for her welcoming words, and now I would like to invite Claire from the Central Support Service to give her welcoming speech.
Wait a minute, you even don't know what I'm going to say, so don't clap now. Yeah, eTwinning is a continuing success story, and I've been told that learning is the mother of learning. So I'm going to repeat that and also refresh a little bit our brain. For instance, that eTwinning is the biggest community in Europe. So we have the one in yellow, who are part of the eTwinning program, and the one in green, who are the eTwinning Plus country. We may have 2 new countries joining soon, so the family is expanding. And we are proud of that, of course. Then you could have clapped. Okay, just to make you warming up. Okay, so it's a clear success, and we know that we say a success, it should be like figures. So figures such as you know, we are more than 500,000 of teachers registered on the platform, with almost 200,000 schools on eTwinning, with quite a lot of projects, like more than 74,000, which represent approximately 4% of teachers in Europe, which is nice because it's let us to have room for improvement here, and also 42 countries, and very soon a little bit more. So it's not about only quantity, but also quality. And this one will be updated soon, so it's quite aging already, like in 2015, but just to show that it's not only the community growing, but it's also the quality of project, which is also very important because it's not just being registered and not doing nothing on the platform. So the idea is really also to be active and do something. So why it's so successful? So for instance, the first answer usually is it's because it's a community. What does that mean? It means that as soon as you are part of a community, it means that people are helping each other, which is, I think, working very well in eTwinning. And this is one of the strengths of eTwinning, is that you are not alone in your classroom anymore. And also, the idea is to grow organically. So it's not you in your island and being the king of eTwinning in your school. The idea is that you spread out the word. Of course, you know all this, so basically, eTwinning is a success because it's just the right answer at the right moment. So for instance, it replies, as you just mentioned, to the challenges of the 21st century, and mainly in the new framework of skills and competencies. Sorry. It's okay. Yeah, you follow. It's okay, thank you. So, and the idea is really like, for instance, eTwinning covers what we call the 4 C's, such as collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. So I think that none of you here in the room would contradict this, and we will try to make it like happening even more and show it even more. So of course, eTwinning is also successful, basically because a professional development offer is huge, such as, and I'm sure you know them, learning events, which is 15 days training, online seminar, online courses, professional development workshop, here you go, and eTwinning live events. So again, you may say like, look, we are ambassador, which means we are eTwinner, like experienced eTwinner. Is she drunk? Why does she repeat this? You will see in a minute. Because of course, the success of eTwinning is not only the community, it's not only the professional development, but it's also the fact that there is a strong support strategy behind. So we know, and for you, I'm sure that who knows a little about community, a community, if there is no moderator, dies, straight. So if there is no support behind, then it doesn't remain, it is not sustainable. And here it's sustainable just because there is, as you can see, of course, it is an initiative funded by the European Commission. Then the Central Support Service is working on behalf of the European Commission, relying on national support services and partner support agencies for eTwinning Plus. And we have you, guys, and the schools, okay? So, and it won't be like successful with that, without this structure. So, here we go. After this refreshment, of course, eTwinning Ambassador, you are useful in all these aspects of success, meaning that you are there to support the professional development towards the community, because most of you are delivering learning events, online seminar, some Twitter chat, and so on. It's also like about you are community pillars. You are the ones that people will call, ask questions, you will be the approachable ones, while the CSS, for instance, or the European Commission, or even the NSS can be seen as very far away, but ambassadors are not. You are on the field. And also because basically you give support. So support is not only like giving like training, but it's also like advising, taking by the hand, and explaining what is eTwinning in real. So quickly, again, I know that you'll go crazy with figures, so don't take picture of this slide, it's not the most important. What is really important on that slide is that at the moment we have reached 1,400 ambassadors. This graph will be updated because we missed some of the latest figure from the NSS, but it gives more or less the trends, and obviously it is proportional with the size of the country. I will change the slide because otherwise you will take picture, and I don't like that. And so the idea here is really like you are becoming a huge network. As much as the eTwinning community is growing, you are also growing too. And as the NSS is relying on you as much as we rely on NSS, that's why here, and I'm happy to say that the PDW in Serbia is the 10th PDW for ambassador. And that was not something that you should take for granted, because at the beginning it was not one PDW a year, but we have managed to emphasize and foster the fact that we need a PDW for ambassador every year. Because online collaboration works, but we know it works better, and also for collaboration it works much better if you meet in real, face-to-face. And we hope that we will have even more in the future. So what's going on? at the moment, and we felt that it's important with you to share. So the first one is that we are working with your Ministry of Education. So it's been 3 years now that we are meeting your Ministry of Education representative regularly, either during the annual conference, but also online, to really foster that eTwinning should be into the curricula, but also to listen at them and see how we can better support ministry and their work. So the idea is that we work bottom up, so from the teacher, from ambassadors, but we work also like top down, because otherwise it doesn't work. So to spread the word that eTwinning might be a great help and should be the key to reply to the 21st century challenges. So it's also about eTwinning schools. eTwinning school, you may have heard about it. How many eTwinning schools are there? Cool. So this is a major development we just have launched, so congratulations, guys. We will explore this a little bit later, and mainly on the last day with Irini. So this is one of the major developments we are launching now, and that would be like conducted in the coming years as well to strengthen the approach of the old school approach. And then it's also things business as usual, meaning that with ambassador, as soon as you become an ambassador, and some of them in the room, I know their face, know that already, we have regular, so basically it's 2 months, every 2 months we have a meeting with ambassador to keep up to date, to ask you things such as any suggestion, feedback, and so on. And it's also the great opportunity for us to give you like the latest development, if we are going in the right direction and so on. So that's really important. It's also about the eTwinning group. So if you go regularly there, you would know that all kind of resource and information, you may find them there. So please do use it. And of course, we have a regular online, so we just had an ambassador online course. How many of you have followed the last online ambassador course, which lasts 4 months? Congrats, you survived. That's good. That's great. So that would be continued as well. And of course, we will also continue based on your needs, because we ask you also if you have any needs in terms of training, to give you online training, as much as the way we drafted this current PDW was based on your need. Okay, so it's not like out of the blue that we design and draft the program, it's based on what you ask for. What about the future? The future is true, it's quite uncertain in many different contexts. However, we can say that, as we just mentioned, for instance, we will continue to consolidate and make the ground very strong. So this is already like something that we will continue with. So which means that we will continue to consolidate the ambassador network on which we really rely on. It means also that we will continue on the old school approach. So that would be the biggest development as a general topic. So we'll continue in that direction, and don't worry, you will be informed and ask, and we will always ask your suggestion to continue on that. So what is upcoming? And you will see, like, can Kahal stand up? Thank you. So he's my colleague from the CSS, and he will bother some of you because we will update, thank you, Kahal. We will update this very old-fashioned slide that you see here. It's the screenshot of the eTwinning book made in 2013. So it's almost prehistorical now, because things are moving fast, so it's more than time to change it. So we will update it. So it might not be an e-book, but more like some kind of mini website, which will be entirely dedicated for you guys. So what will be in it? So this table of content has been drafted with ambassadors, meaning that we, during this famous 2 months meeting we have with you, and also like some survey and Tricider, so that was the decision, and I mean, the majority, the tyranny of the majority decided to have this. So basically it would be one stand shop to find basically the definition of what is an ambassador. It will address ambassador themselves. So we will develop, so we'll have testimonials video. That's why Kahal will bother some of you. We will also have infographic to explain how eTwinner can find you, but also any infographic that you may need, and it will be an ongoing also feeding for this mini website, let's say. It will be also the ambassador toolbox, and we are doing this also together with ambassador, and I'm sure that some of you are already aware of that, so we'll make some kind of kit with the presentation, so you are sure that you are using the right presentation towards teacher, or explaining eTwinning school, or explaining like the benefit of eTwinning and so on. So the idea is to have a package that you can use straight away, okay? And of course, best practices such as project, but also how to lead a group or moderate some communities and so on. And last but not least, we will have also a chapter on eTwinning school and how we can support school to become eTwinning school. So that's the big thing coming up for you guys as ambassadors. But that's why we want you to remain motivated. And we need you for many other things, such as the same thing, basically. So nothing has changed so far. But the first one is really like to keep on promoting things. So such as at the moment, the last big development is eTwinning school. So don't keep it for you. The idea of the community is really to share with the community and to make it grow. So it's also, it's talking to your school master, it's also talking to parents, to talk like to local community and so on. It's to opening up your school, because it's all about eTwinning. It's also to give us feedback. So your feedback, we care about your feedback. So when you have idea, don't hesitate. If we are developing something that you consider that it's not fitting well, don't hesitate. We are open to criticism. Yes, we do. And we also love when you suggest us ideas and we try to put them into practice, but also like to support each other. So again, the idea is not like to remain in your islands alone in your classroom. No, the idea is really to support each other within the same school, within your community, and within the online community. Of course, to disseminate. So there are a lot of resources shared within eTwinning, so the idea is not to keep it for you, again. So spread the words and the enthusiasm. You are the pillar of the community, so we count on you to do this. And last but not least is to be the inspirational point. So just to show that, not to say that it has changed the way you teach, but just to show it, to be creative, the way you promote it is not like shouting at people, but just giving some examples, some good practices, involve your students. I mean, you are the ones who can inspire within your school. So last but not least, I hope the sound will work. Fantastic.
Will you fight? No! We will run! And we will live!
Shame on you! This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst.
And I guarantee a week won't go by in your life you won't regret walking out, letting them get the best of you.
Well, I'm not going home.
We've got too far!
And I'm gonna stay right here and fight for this lost cause.
A day may come when the courage of men fails, but it is not this day.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
I'm not saying it's gonna be easy.
You're gonna work harder than you ever worked before.
But that's fine, we'll just get tougher with it.
If a person grits his teeth and shows real determination,
failure is not an option.
That's how winning is done.
Believe me when I say
We can break this army here.
And win just one for the Gipper.
But I say to you, what every warrior has known since the beginning of time,
You've got to get mad.
I mean plumb mad dog mean.
if you would be free men, then you must
Fight to fulfill that promise. Let us
cut out their living guts
1 inch at a time.
and they will know what we can do!
Let no man forget how menacing we are. We are lions.
You're like a big bear, man.
This is your time. Seize the day.
Never surrender.
victory or death.
That's the Chicago way.
Who's with me?
Clap! Clap! Don't let team die! Clap!
All right, let's fly.
And gentlemen in England, now our bed. shall know my name is the Lord when I tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our Independence Day.
So from that video, there are two things that I would like to add. First of all, is to make it like European, because it was really American on purpose, so make it European. And also to share it like a little bit more gender balance. And here I can see that the gender balance is more like female, so let's become guide and inspirational as much as we can. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank Claire for this inspiring talk and inspiring video. So as you can see, we have 2 full days ahead of us with a lot of opportunity to learn from each other, to exchange good practice and to establish new cooperations. And at the beginning of our program, we have the opportunity to hear how the community is developed from our dear colleague, Zoja Kukić from Startit organization, who can share a lot of interesting ways how they developed IT community here in Serbia. And I'm sure that we can use some of the examples in our work in developing IT communities in our countries. So without further ado, I would like to invite Zoja to take the floor.
I will just stand here. It's easier for me. I hope you don't mind that everybody can see me. Hi, I'm Zoja. It's very nice to be here. As Ivana said, my topic is community building, but now when I heard how big of a community you are, I'm not sure I'm gonna tell you something that you don't already know, but at least I hope it will be interesting. For me, it was very interesting to hear the previous talks, especially because it got me to understand a bit more of what you are doing. And please, if there is something while I'm talking that you want to ask a question or you don't understand, then please try and stop me, because it's better for you to understand the full. In case I didn't understand, explain it well, it's better to stop me now than to go too much further. So I come from an organization which is widely known as Startit, and this is part of our team, actually our whole team 4 years ago in 2014, when we actually delivered one of the biggest conferences in Eastern Europe, startup conferences. But at this time, it's very interesting, actually nobody from this picture worked in our organization full-time. So we were a bunch of enthusiast people believing in what we were doing. And what we were doing is actually quite related to what you are doing in quite a lot of sense. So we believe, firstly, what we want to achieve is to stop people leaving Serbia and moving to some more advanced countries. Serbia is one of the biggest countries, one of the countries with the biggest brain drain, which makes us us and the people in that image makes us quite sad. So we were trying to look for a way to stop our friends from leaving the country. And what we believed at that time that the key was, it were new technologies. And as you can see, we actually started officially in 2010. But unofficially we started actually in 2007. And what is also from this picture, I said it was in 2014. At that time, also nobody worked full-time in the organization. And we were actually working quite a lot on the organization, but that was not our full-time commitment. And now we are here, 4 years from that period, we are here. We are having 25 people who work in the organization full-time. And these are like 2 main projects which best explain what is it that we are doing. So one is the network of Startit centers. So we have 8 hubs across Serbia where we host different kinds of events, and which are actually visited by 24,000 people every year. So 24,000 people in Serbia come to listen to some of our programs. And then the other one is our online house, online home. And that's our blog, where we do a lot of things that we do offline in the hubs. We also share them online quite a lot. And we are also quite strong in that area. We have 70,000 people every month who visit our website and then try to learn and get some useful information from there on. And I understand this is like very focused in a sense, okay, but what is it that we are actually doing, and what is that these 24,000 people are coming for? So I said, like, our topic is technology and technological entrepreneurship, so we are trying to increase the number of people who are good in tech in various areas. So either people who are unemployed and want to find some kind of an employment, so we give them even programming courses, or people who are already doing something, like who are in marketing but want to transition to become a digital marketing professional because they earn more money. Or they are designers but don't know how to design websites, we teach them. So the idea, and help them get better in that. And then even way further, for example, if somebody is a big tech professional, we help them advance even more in what they are doing. So what we are doing, like a lot of workshops and meetups, we do more than 500 of them every year. Then, as I said, like, we do a lot of programming courses for people in all of our hubs, and they are all free. So the idea is that whoever wants to learn and made us and convinced us that they are going to be committed to it, they can enjoy our course for free. Then we also do a lot of programming courses for kids. Recently, we calculated that 2,000 children in Serbia went through our kids programs. And one of our pillars where people also know us quite a lot is the startup story. And actually, the whole reason why we are doing all of that is the startup programs and the startup story. Because probably some of you know, but we want, like, Serbia to be the country where you have digital businesses which are not just for Serbian market but for global market, and now you can actually do it. It's like all you need is a good internet and good skills in digital marketing, sales, and to actually build a good product. So it doesn't really matter if you are, for most of the products, it doesn't really matter whether you are in UK, in US, or in Serbia. And that's the story that we are actually trying to tell to the people who are part of our community. And this is one of the ways that we are trying to share this whole startup motivation and entrepreneurship motivation story. So this is a picture from one of our events. This slogan over here, Znam da možemo, it's actually in Serbian, we know we can. And the idea behind it is actually we use this every year to showcase all the great examples in Serbia of people who made global successes. And for example, and we use it almost exclusively for business areas. So, like, what did you do in business? And did you sell your business? Is your business big in global terms? Because people here don't often hear those stories. And there is also one thing that people find interesting, and then we put it over here. It's like on this one event, we had 1,500 people attending. It was like a very big hall here in Belgrade. And we even have Novak Djokovic, the tennis player, in the audience. And we didn't invite him to the stage because he came to support all the other great Serbians who are top of the world, but because that's something that he did as a sport player, but we believe businesses can do it as well. So not to go deep in that, but as I said before, this is the current number of hubs that we are running in Serbia. So it's 8 cities, 8 different hubs. And these are actually the communities that we are building. And we are building them almost every day. And this is something which we find, to be honest, quite difficult at some times and quite rewarding at some other times. And I will try to just wrap up shortly on how we think we managed to create these large numbers that I mentioned before of people supporting us and becoming part of our community, and how are we doing it in the smaller parts. So we did it all bottom up. And basically, it's a very, as I told you, like we are almost 10 years doing this. And in those 10 years, I have to say, like for the first 5 and even more, nobody believed in what we are doing. Because like we were some bunch of like some crazy kids who are talking about some startups, and nobody understands what a startup is and why is this ICT business at all different than any other business. And we were also really kids. Like 10 years ago I was 20. So I understand even the skepticism of some people when we were talking about, but the basic thing is like nobody believed that we knew what was necessary. And then at some point, some people started believing in what we were saying and getting to feel this real enthusiasm which we had, which was like, and those people were actually Serbian tech people from the tech community, but also a very small number of them, because we were, again, talking about startups, and they were, nobody at that time didn't know what is a startup. And basically we had like some small number of people who started coming up to our events. And I remember when we wanted to bring one global event in Serbia, it's like a very small meetup thing. It's called Mobile Monday. It happens in 100 countries across the world. And it's a day when people come and they talk about mobile technologies. Nothing special, it's 1 or 2 hour event. And I remember my co-founder, he was very eager to do it in Serbia and everything. And he announced it at some event, which was fully tech event for programmers, and he said, yeah, you know, we are doing this event, Mobile Monday, and I know one woman who was very active at that time, she said, come on, why are you doing this? Nobody will come, this is Belgrade, why would anybody come to a talk about mobile technologies? And he said, you know what, I did it, if nobody comes, nobody comes, but at least I did it. And what happened is actually 80 people came, so 80. So in the sense, like we had this fear of, we could have this fear of becoming like some people who are saying that somebody will come to visit something and they wouldn't, but we didn't. We were like, whatever, we will come, we will bring some friends of ours to come, and that's it. Then the other thing, like, so we started hosting events like once in 2 or once in 3 months. Then we had another problem, like when we were at some conferences abroad, we had a lot of people, we saw that people ask questions. And then you have like a lecture, which is just a lecture, and nobody is actually, it's very rarely that some lecture gives you like a good feeling and that you remember it. But what is like a great value is when people start asking questions, and we had no questions at our events. So we were like, this is bad. What should we do in order to increase the numbers of questions and people communication? And then we asked our friends to ask questions. So we prepared questions in advance, we gave them, we told them like, this is what you should do. And what happened, we always made like 1 or 2, mostly 2 or 3 questions, but we were like, 1 and 2 are going definitely, and then the third one, if nobody else asks, the third person will ask. And what happened is whenever there was a first question, after that there were 5. So like it was those people feel, especially in the beginning of something, they feel, in Serbia at least, but that's our problem. I'm sure every other community has some of their own, but people felt afraid of asking something stupid, of they didn't want to stand out. So we were like, we made some other people stand out. And there is one great image, which I didn't put in a slide and really felt bad about it, but it's actually one of my favorite images, which is also very useful for everybody, for anybody who's actually building a startup business, but I think it's crucial for anybody building a community. And it's basically that it's better to have few people love your product than have thousands of them like it. And it's same for the community. It's much better to start off with a small number of people who really think that what we or you are delivering is awesome than to have like 1,000 people who think it's okay. And that was actually our motto, and we were like trying always to do some things that people will think great. And what happened afterwards, like it was very slow, as you see probably. But it grew after, like, I think it grew exponentially, but in those first phases, it was like 2 people, then 4, I mean, very small growth. And then now it's just like, we built first space in 2014, and now we are running 8 spaces, and next year we will open another 5. So it's like a very big growth once you catch what is it that needs to be done. And one of the things, as I said, like what we like to call our main community, it's basically a volunteer network of people who are giving out lectures on our events. And it's not, they're just like giving, those are people from the tech community. As I said, our niche is tech community, and I'm sure you all are well aware. But for example, when it comes to technology, it's very difficult to keep up, to know what's trendy, to know what's good and everything, unless you work in that area. So unless you are employed in a company which develops virtual reality, you can talk about virtual reality. In other ways, you can just give like some bases and that's it. So we realized that we actually need to find a way to motivate those people who are in the Serbian tech sector to actually share knowledge. And we had it quite easy, because in Serbia, people who work in tech sector, they have very high salaries comparing to the rest of the country. So for example, an average salary of a programmer is almost 4 times the average salary in the country. So they have money, they live well, but now they came to this level of their own sense of that they feel like they need to give something back to the society. And we told them, give it to us. And they gave it to us. So, and basically not us, but to people in our centers. So for example, this guy over here, Mika, he is an entrepreneur. He has his own tech company. He's investing highly in tech. Now he started building some own buildings because he's like, tech is not interesting anymore. But he also still runs this tech company. And he gives out 3 months programming course to our Startit center in India. And India is a city 1 hour away from Belgrade, which has 20,000 people. He gets nothing from it. He doesn't know the people. Those people will probably aren't his cousins, friends, whatever. They are just some people where he feels like this is his way of giving back. And that's basically what we are constantly doing. We are telling them how important it is for him and all the other people to actually share knowledge, because it is the only way currently, like we are not a rich country where we can like invest quite a lot in knowledge and now everybody will know something. It's we believe that we have to organize ourselves, and that's basically what we are doing. And I wanted to also showcase some other examples of what is it that we do through this like volunteer network. And this time I've put a focus on kids programs that we are doing, but we are even more, like they are not the main programs which we host. We are more focused on youth, like older than. So for example, this is something that we did. It's called like Summer of Kids programs. And we had 3 courses which were going on all the summer in all of our spaces. One was Scratch. It's like basic programming for very young kids. Then it was JavaScript. It's another programming language, which we did for older children, like 12 and above. And then we had IoT, Internet of Things, and Raspberry Pi kids. And for example, how did we get money for that? We didn't have any donors, and we actually usually don't have any big donor which gives us money to do what we are doing. But for example, we had volunteers giving out these courses. And then we have for this robotics course, we needed an equipment as well, because if you teach kids how to build robots from these Arduino kits, it really doesn't make sense not to give them the kits, because if they don't take the robots they made, they will not be able to repeat it. So what happened is, for example, there was one UK company which works in Serbia and has a big development center here. And they were having, like, in the UK, they had like thousands of those kits, which they were donating to UK kids. And kids. And then they were, we managed to convince them to bring 100 of those sets and to actually bring them when they were going on and off, because their people are constantly traveling London, Belgrade, so they were carrying, I'm not sure I should talk about it, but they were carrying it in their bags, not declaring it to anything, because we couldn't import it in Serbia. But at least, like, we had 100 kids who have it now and who are now building further their own robots, for example. Then, this is another thing that we, like, we do a lot of different workshops for, not workshops, but also courses, both for kids and, but I told you about that as well. And for example, this is one of the events, it's dark in this setting, but it's over there, you can see it better. But it's one of the children's events which we had in our space. What we did, like the kids who went through programming courses, and who learned to make their own games. We organized sort of a competition for them to showcase the games. Then they were, so we, in the other part of the room, we had a whole exhibition of their games, and they were showing it, and we even brought in some celebrities to whom they were showing it to. And then on the other part, like, we talked to them about entrepreneurship and what they could do, but in a kids-friendly way, so they could understand. And for example, for us here, whenever we do those kids programs, for us it's very, very difficult to get to the kids because it's in a sense of, like, to get them come to the program, because it's we can reach the parents, for example, but it works for really small kids. But when you are like 10, 11, I'm sure you know even better than I do, but they don't want to go where their parents send them. And then, so teachers helped us out a lot in this outreach and in this bringing out children, and we managed to do some great cooperations, for example, with teachers. And I always like to talk about one program which we have in this Startit Center in India. The idea, we started working quite closely with the high school in that city, and teachers were bringing occasionally kids to our lecture to listen to some of our meetups, programs, things like that. But what we did, then some group of, as I told you, small community, it starts with a small number of people. Some group of kids started getting interested in this whole robotics thing, and we had like some equipment there, so they started learning. And then now in that space, we have kids who are running our robotics lab. So basically, if you want to learn something about it, you come to the kids. And eventually we got to a whole, like, I like to call it like, we turned the game, and we did, these are some of the kids who are actually like teachers in our program, and these are teachers. And what we did is something like kids are learning, they're teaching their teachers how to use modern technology and how to use different digital skills. So it's, and it's great, like you see the teachers, they are, but they are actually very happy, both kids, and we are going to do it now in every space, but it also needs to have, we need to build this trust relationship between all the groups as both people before me said teachers don't like to be wrong, but this is like something that in digital segment nobody knows everything, so it's good. And what I wanted also to tell you, for example, because I know that you are trying also using some different digital skills. I know as far as our programs are concerned, but I know all the other people who are in Serbia at least, but if it works in Serbia, it probably works everywhere else, is the thing that they are, these are all the tech companies in Serbia, and they are all supporting everything we do, either financially, either by bringing people, and really the only thing that anybody needs to do when, as I said again, when it comes to Serbia, but I'm sure everywhere else, is just ask. And we did a lot of different events. We do a lot of things for like girls in tech and showcase and bringing like female programmers to teach and to speak with kids and everything. And we do it thanks to these companies. And I think it's very, very, very easy to reach them because they have this. Firstly, they have like a very profitable incentive. They need people. They always need good people. So it's better to be in their view while they're young. But they don't advertise themselves in that way, but really they are eager to help because they know how important what they are doing is. And this is actually how important it is. I mean, it's a slide you've probably seen before, but I also always like to show it because it's how fast we are adopting new technologies. And for example, as you see, it took us almost 50 years with electricity to get to be used by 1/4 of the population. And as you see here, with the web, it was less than 7. So it's like, and now with some other technologies, it's even faster. And this is like my favorite, it's from one blog I really love, but it's like the point of human progress. And that's why there is this quote, which I'm sure you already know, but that 70% of today's first graders, they don't know what they will be working on. And I think understanding, not even knowing the technology, but being open to learning it, because you cannot teach them now something that will be useful for them in 5 years, but just this is actually what we are trying. We are trying to teach them basic like understanding of technology, but more importantly, understanding the entrepreneurship. And we are doing it for the whole Serbian youth. So because we believe that it doesn't matter what this job will look like, if you are ready to learn, it will be, you will get it. And if you're not ready to learn, then you have a problem. And we are actually, by creating all these communities and creating hubs outside of like big cities in Serbia, we are actually trying to create just that, to have this group of people who can see the light at the end of the tunnel and who can actually start learning and start working together and being surrounded with people who are similar to them. Because I think that's the most important thing. Like, it's very easy to get spoiled by the environment, and it's very easy to get improved by the environment. That's it. Thank you.
I would like to thank Zoya for her presentation. And before the coffee break, which is due any minute, I would just like to use some time to tell you something about the program in the next 2 days. So some logistical information. So today we are in plenary here with the presentations and the networking activities. And the dinner will be in the hotel at 8 o'clock. It's in the room Nikola Tesla. So every room is marked in your agenda, but you also have a floor plan in your name tags, so you can easily find the rooms in the hotel. So hopefully you will not have problems, but we are here if anyone needs to ask us questions, we can direct you. From tomorrow morning, we start with the parallel sessions. So again, most of you have chosen the sessions you would like to attend, and you have the rooms in the agenda. So we will have also the names of the people that were registered for each workshop in the doors of the rooms and in the hall. So please find yourself and find the room. Again, hopefully you will not have problems because you have the floor plan and the room's names in the agenda, but if you need any assistance, we are here for you. The program tomorrow ends at 4 o'clock, and then you will have some time to rest before our sightseeing tour. It will be a walking tour, so keep in mind, if you want to have your heels for the dinner in the evening, you can bring them, of course, with you, but maybe you will need something more comfortable for walking. The tour will end at the restaurant in the Belgrade Fortress. So the restaurant is at the Belgrade Fortress. So hopefully you will have a good time there. And on the third day, we will start with the parallel sessions. We will have one workshop session, and then we will come back to the plenary, where we will have panel discussion with our eTwinning ambassadors on eTwinning schools and official closing of the PDW. So I hope you will have a great time in Belgrade. I don't know if Claire wants to say some words. Okay, so I think it's time for the coffee break. Thank you very much, and we come back for the networking activity afterwards. Thank you.